So today I want to show you how to do a back splice with a steel ring on the end of a line. Let's take a look at how to splice a ring using the crown knot method and a back splice onto a piece of line. Okay, so there are a number of ways to attach a metal ring, and that's we're going to use the crown knot method and then back splice. To prepare the rope, I've taped one end already. This is just a short demonstration piece. I'm going to use a constrictor knot about here, and you can Google how to do a constrictor knot, but pretty simple, similar to a clove hitch. Make an X, and then as you come back around, go over the running end and up through the center of the knot. This basically is like a figure of 8 or a simple half hitch knot tied together. And I've actually done it incorrectly, but that's okay. I'm going to cut this off anyway, and we'll tie a better constrictor knot next time. The main point is that we are constricting or preventing the rope from fraying past that point, because we're going to have the ring spliced in there. Now, I've got lots of extra rope, more than I need. We'll cut that off after the back splice and after we taper the back splice in. So I suspect the back splice will be about that long with its taper. Again, quick rule of thumb, natural rope, we want at least 3 tucks. Synthetic rope, we'll want 5 tucks. And then from there, I'm going to taper it. So since this is 3-lay rope, I'll have 5 tucks, then 2 tucks of 2, 1 tuck of 1 to give me 7 tucks total. I will cut off the ends and fray them. And again, that's because this is a synthetic hemp rope. It's a little bit slipperier than natural hemp. The other thing we want to do is just tape the ends of this and then unravel our rope. So I'll tape that up. Unraveling the rope is fairly simple. Just pull the top strand, easy way, on 3-lay rope until you're back to the knot you've tied here. So I'll unravel that, I'll tape the ends of my rope, and I'll make this string a bit shorter so it's not in our way. And then we'll get on to using the crown knot method to splice this ring onto the end of this rope. Okay, so I presented the rope to myself with 1 strand on the bottom in the center away. I'm going to take the ring, slide it in to what is not my constrictor knot, but basically as tight as possible to the bottom. All right, so we look like this. We're going to take this rope, pass it under and through the ring, and this creates a loop here. I want to maintain that loop by holding on to it. Then I'm going to take the middle rope, pull it up through the ring, and back down over the lay of the rope like this, maintaining my loop. Take the 3rd strand down through the loop I've created and through the ring underneath like that. And now when we start to tighten from the top, this will take a bit to do on camera, tightening all 3 strands, we form a crown knot on the top, which has captured the ring. So all of these 3 will come down, and we see a bit of a crown knot through the center of the ring. From here, we're just going through a normal back splice process. And so end result, we can see the crown knot here, and the rear lead has come through to the front. The 2 front leads have passed through to the back. From here, we'll carry on with our back slice. Okay, so at this point, I can carefully remove my constrictor knot, which, as you recall, is not a constrictor knot. So for me, this is actually fairly simple to remove. If you tied the constrictor knot correctly, you are likely to have to cut it off. Okay, so we don't need this too tight yet because we're going to work into the lay of the rope on our back splice. Okay, so take any strand basically. Doesn't matter, I'll take the one closest to me, which for me is this one. See, it comes out just like a normal splice. We're going to cross over this one and it wants to go under that one. So I'm going to use my Swedish fid just to try to keep things as tight as possible. I'm going to slide that through, and at this stage we don't need to make this very tight. All right, I'm going to turn my work, find this rope here coming out, wants to cross over that one and under the next rope, which is here. We'll slide that one through, move the fid, put it through. And then we have our third one, which becomes slightly confusing, but basically this rope wants to cross over this and under this rope here. And just like in the last video, if we draw an imaginary line through our rope, we see that all three come out on the same plane from the main line, or through the main line. At this point, what we want to do, maintain the twist in the rope, tighten it up as much as possible. It will basically take a lot of tightening. And this just keeps the head of the knot clean and tight to our rope. Okay, so from here, just going to grab the one closest to us, which, although it's not closest to us, I'm going to use this one. So we see the rope comes out, crosses over, goes underneath. And what we're aiming to do here is either our 3 or 5 tucks minimum for strengthening the rope. There's one. I'm going to turn it. This one, cross over, and then under this rope here. Maintain the twist in the rope to keep it nice and tight. And then this one becomes slightly confusing again, but it crosses over here and under this one here. And actually, this rope is crossed over the wrong one, so let's pull it out, maintain the lay. So we're coming out in the same plane. This rope, let's back it off one again. So we've got our first rope here. This is the next rope, which crosses through here. If you make a slight error, it's easy to tell because, again, you want the ropes to come out on that same plane. And from here on in, we're just going to maintain tightness and continue the tucks all the way down through the rope. Okay, so at this point, I'm happy I have enough splices or enough wraps to the rope. I'm going to start to taper these by, I'll do 2 passes, these 2 here, followed by 1 pass or 1 wrap of the rope. Then I will cut each of the ends and fray them up like we did in the last video. So we'll start here, do 2 ropes in a pass instead of 3. There's 1 and number 2. And then I will take this rope by itself, this end of the line, to pass it through for 1 wrap on the rope. And that basically tapers the rope, and as you can see, it becomes slightly thinner. Now I got a fair bit of rope left. I could do this one more time, but I'm not sure I will. I will give another wrap just because it might look nice, but it's not required. And this taper is not required either. It's more about aesthetics than anything else. Okay, so from that point, give it a bit of a roll, flatten it out. Happy with that. I'm going to cut the ends of these ropes as before, close to their exit point. And again, a very sharp knife definitely helps. And like before, I'm going to stop using my knife. I'm going to pull out a small pair of shears and do them with these small scissors. There, about here, and on the third side. You want to make sure you have enough to maintain the tightness of your rope. I'm going to fuzz them up, and the reason I'm fuzzing them up instead of melting the ends, even though this is synthetic rope, on natural rope you can't fuzz these, or you can't melt the ends. Synthetic rope, obviously you can. However, that melted end can scuff up your bright work. So if we just fuzz the ends, if you wanted to, you could put whipping over the end, no requirement. There is the end result. A back splice on a steel ring.